So, what's good, everybody? Welcome back to another webinar where I'm going to be breaking down gold and GJ. For those of you guys who trade gold and GJ, so you guys can kind of look at what I'm looking for the rest of the week. Now, when it comes to gold, I'm actually expecting gold to go bullish long term, maybe by mid towards end of the week, right? So if we look at the daily time frame, this structure is still pretty bullish. We see the EMAs or the SMAs being crossed blue over red. What we also see here is last week, I was about to say yesterday, last week we had a big rejection of this 1865 level, which it is a major area of resistance and support throughout this entire kind of consolidation range that we've seen on gold for quite some time. So what I'm going to be pretty much looking for on gold is kind of what we spoke about last week. So maybe another retest of this 1865 area, and then possibly some form of a bullish engulfing candlestick, or maybe even for the week to close bearish and then the following week be bullish. But I do expect gold to go up long term from this area 1865. Once gold starts breaking under this 1865, maybe 1850 area, then that's when, we may see things change. But that's just kind of my long-term perspective, basing it off of the weekly time frame. Basing it off of the daily time frame, structure is still pretty bearish, so I wouldn't start looking for buys just as of yet. We see price forming lower high points, and we see a lot of bearish momentum just overall in general. So what I'm going to be waiting for is for price to actually come down into this 1865 level and possibly look to buy it from here, just because I wouldn't want to take a trade anywhere in this entire range here unless we have another rejection of this 1892, where I would look to actually go short if price maintains under that. Obviously, since I'm not short at 1892, then there's nothing really for me to do in terms of looking for sells, other than the fact that I would like to see price maintain above pretty much this entire zone right here to look to actually buy in the long term. Now, when it comes to GJ is kind of playing out how I expected it to from last week, where pretty much right once price broke under this 161,400 area, I would look for price to come back into this 161,400 area and look for price to go short back down into 159,800 or 160 flats. If we look at the daily time frame, there's not really a lot of buying momentum here, but the head and shoulders pattern is playing out quite nicely from what we discussed last time. So I would definitely like to see price actually come down into this neckline. It would set up for a pretty good trade, although on the 4-hour time frame, you have two rejections of 161,400. I wouldn't look to take a position right now in this current area, just because from a risk to reward standpoint, I don't think it would make too much sense, because if we were to go short from this area here, the best stop loss is going to be above 161,400, and the take profit would be down here at 159,830. So, the risk to reward just overall doesn't make sense as of right now. So I would like to see maybe some form of a pullback back into resistance, at least this area right here, before looking to go short again. And then again, I would like to see some form of a sell signal, like a bearish engulfing, a bearish variation pattern, something along those lines. And if price does give me that, again, stops here, then we'll look to target 160 flat, or let's just call it 160 flat. That's where I would like to see GJ actually go. Now, anything other than that would kind of be assuming, because I don't know if GJ is going to break this 159,869 area. If it does break that 169,869 area, then we can see it come down to 157. But as of right now, looking for that trade, I would just kind of look for price to come down into 160. Now, if price starts to actually break above 161,400, then we can actually expect price to go up into 162,400, which is about 100-ish pips. So right now we're looking for about 150-ish pip move. This is kind of the range we're looking at, and that's kind of how I like to set up positions again and look for possible trades. If we see price break above this area, then most likely it's going to come up to the next area of resistance, which is 162,300. So then you guys have a perspective, and you guys already know what you could look for. If price does this, then I'll look for this, right? So in a situation like this, if price rejects 161,400 again, I'll look to short into 159,849. If price breaks above 161,669, then I'll look for price to break, or then I'll look for price to go up into 162, 400. Let's kind of call it there. So does anybody have any questions on what I'm going to be looking for or any other questions that they would like me to answer?
Can you take a look at EU, please?
So with EU, I mean, the way it's forming on the daily time frame, I would kind of just wait and see if it breaks under these lows to possibly go short. But like, you look at the weekly time frame, it is a major area of support on the weekly time frame. So I would be very cautious with EU at this point in time. So we definitely could see a bounce on EU from this area.
Okay, thank you.
That I'm not sure what else I would kind of look for there because this is just a big range of consolidation. So maybe buying at the lows would make the most sense here.
Can you check US 30, please?
What do you say?
Can you check US 30? Buy some US 30?
So US 30 so far is closing under this area of support on the weekly time frame. Daily time frame is kind of at this daily area of support, which is, let's call it right here. So pretty much what I would wait for is either rejection back up into 33, 167, or for price to kind of break under and go into the next area, which really would be 31 or even just 32 flat right here. So I'd look for price to come into this area here if it starts to break under that support level. 4-hour time frame looks pretty bearish as well. So at this point, I will kind of just wait because we've seen US 30 bounce off of this area. But I mean, the way it's forming on the weekly time frame, it looks like it could just set up to continue to actually go down the way this weekly structure is bearish so far. So you definitely could see US 30 push down more. I would just wait it out at this point, wait for price to break support, and then come into the next area of support if you're looking to go short.
I was going to ask, so would you consider that H4, the pattern, the head and shoulders?
On the 4-hour? No, I wouldn't.
That move right there, no?
No, I wouldn't. I would look for more head and shoulders like what's set up like on GJ on the daily time frame, where you have a bullish trend, you have the left shoulder, the head, and the right shoulder.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, bro. Question for GJ. For that pullback to go short on 161 in that area, are you going to wait for that 4-hour candle closure, then scale into a lower time frame, or you just, since it's already broke below, you're just going to wait for like an hour entry candle, or what's your?
I'd probably wait for just like an hour entry candlestick at this point because you already have 2 rejections of 161, 400. It's just right now it doesn't make sense for me to go short because of the risk to reward. So, I mean, things could change later on throughout the night. I would just like to see some form of a pullback before, looking to go short. I mean, it's still early. It's only, 10:30, let's call it 11 o'clock. So a lot of things could change, by 3 in the morning, but essentially, I would like to actually see GJ pull back up a little bit before looking to short again. So that would be mainly like an hour, 30-minute time frame.
Bet. Thank you, brother.
What's that bottom level again on GJ? The bottom yellow line?
That's the neckline for the daily head and shoulders.
Like, what's the what can you say the price again?
160.
Bet.
Hey, Raul, on go. You waiting for, you said 165? On go. Are you waiting for 165 so you can reject, so you can take the buy? That's what you said?
No, I'm waiting for 161.
I mean, I'm sorry, 1865, sorry. On gold.
Oh, my bad. I don't know why I hit GJ. Yeah, so like the thing is, looking for shorts, there's only 2 areas I'd really want to take a trade. I'd only want to take a trade up here, or I'd only want to take a trade down here. So, down here, this entire area would be me looking for buys, right? I mean, I could look at it from like a shorter term perspective, right? And ultimately, if price breaks this support level, then I could look for it to come back down until 1851 for a sell, right? But right now, since the weekly time frame showing us buying pressure pretty much between 1865 and 1850, I'm more kind of just waiting on, that buying opportunity because I'll be able to look for a bigger move, essentially.
Okay. So if it break 1865, are you gonna wait for a break and retest and maybe take sales?
You could like it. The thing is, it didn't do it that clean here because it broke under here, pulled back up, broke under again, pulled up, retested it, and then continued to go down from there. So if gold does break 1865, I would wait for that break and retest, and then look for gold to go into 1850, which is about 150-ish pip move. But as of right now, GJ just looks cleaner, and plus gold isn't even at 1865 yet. Gold is at 1875. So it would take quite some time, maybe New York session, let's call it, for gold to break and then retest and then look to go short again. Although I wouldn't really be too stuck on the short bias, because what I would wait for is maybe like some form of a double bottom on the daily time frame, and then on the weekly time frame again, I would look for that long signal.
Okay, right. Copy that. Thank you.
Raul, I got a question.
What's good, bro?
So when it comes down to GJ, in case it doesn't do the pullback and drops immediately, how are you gonna look to get in or to catch the trend, the move? I mean.
So if it drops immediately and you get no pullback, what do you do?
Again, please.
If it drops, right, and you get no pullback, what do you do?
I personally miss on the trade.
Exactly. So I do nothing in that situation and just wait for the next trade, because there's always going to be another opportunity. I mean,
All right.
Things can be different, right? Like price could go down and then pull back up. Let's just say rejects the support level, pull back up, and then give me maybe like some form of a sell signal like this, right? Where I'll probably then short here with stops here and then targets here if the risk reward makes sense. To me, it's all about the risk reward ratio making sense, right?
Right. Thank you, man.
Yeah.
And also, please, can you go over GU and UJ?
GU, I would say like there's nothing to do. Like you're still on an impulse to the downside, so I wouldn't even look to take a position on GU. Especially that I haven't traded GU in a very long time. I wouldn't be looking for a position like that. UJ is a little bit different though, because UJ, what pretty much I was looking for last time was for price to reject this area 128 and then come back up into these highs. So in a situation where UJ is already kind of at these 4-hour highs, you only have really two options, which is one, look to short at a double bottom, at a double top, which wouldn't all too much make sense until you get that closure on the daily, right? So like I would kind of just wait for that rejection candlestick and then expect the next daily candlestick to actually go bearish. Or you could wait for the break and retest to look to continue to go long with the trend, because ultimately this market structure is still bullish. We have high, we have higher low, we have high, we have higher low point. So we know this is our previous higher low point. So you could anticipate this to be a double top on UJ, but I wouldn't always look to go against the trend itself. In a situation like this, I'd kind of look for that break, that retest, and look to go long. If you're maybe a little bit confused on like targets and stuff like that, where you could see UJ continue to go to, and that's when you can use a fib and a fib extension, and then you can see UJ pull back about 50% to its original highs, and then you can expect it to go up into 132,398, where you look for that break, the retest, and from this point to this point is about 150-ish pips. I want to call it if you haven't taken the position from here to here.
Right. Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Hey, Ro, I got a question in regards to that that you just said. Can you go back on the daily?
On UJ?
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
So you're saying if you were to look to go short, you'd wait for at least the daily to be bearish. But would you wait for it to be a bearish engulfing candle or just a bearish candle?
No, I would wait for the daily to close as a rejection, because what could happen is the daily could continue to push up and close up here. And at this point in time, I'm no longer looking for a double bottom unless the next day comes back down and closes back under. Then I would look to go short, because if this daily candlestick closes above and it closes above these highs too, and it closes above like this area right here, then I'm going to anticipate for the following day to keep pumping up unless it comes back down and closes under, which then it would be a double bottom. Then I would look to go short. But for me to want to look to go short, I would like to see the daily time frame close pretty much under this area here, kind of close under this line which would make for the strongest sell signal.
Right. Okay, but that candle that does close, it doesn't have to engulf the current candle right now. It just needs to close as a bearish candle. That's what I just wanted to confirm.
Only if this day closes above, the next day has to close the bearish candle right under. Yeah, that would be the most. That would be a sign of a rejecting resistance. A stronger signal would be if it engulfs.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you.
I mean, you could take sells before, but that would just be, more risky.
Yo, Raul,
So, bro.
you going GJ real quick again? Let's have a question.
Yeah.
All right. So on the 4 hour, if you go on the 4 hour, let's say if price actually goes up to your 162,500 level, we would still look for shorts at that area, right? Even though it would break structure on the H4, but on the daily it still respects.
I would still look possibly for shorts unless it breaks above.
Okay. All right, no problem. But it would be best to wait on that day's closure to show a bearish signal, rather than if you see a.
So let's say GJ breaks above 161. I would want to see a rejection of 162,500 look to go short because there's daily resistance here. You see the support, so it can form resistance again. But I would like to see a daily candle, maybe close with some rejection, maybe like this. This is kind of extreme, but maybe something like that, just in a smaller perspective. And then the following day, I look to short.
Okay. All right. Thank you, man.
So
Raul, when it comes down to UJ, it's better just to wait for the next day closer, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can wait for a 4 hour breaking retest to buy, but if you're gonna look to sell, I would wait for this training day to close and wait for the next daily candle to open up and see how the previous daily candle closed.
All right, thank you, man.
Yeah.
This isn't a question, but dude, you killed it on that Set and Forget podcast.
Thank you, bro. I don't know. I didn't really know what to talk about all too much, so we wanted to make it if we were just having a conversation.
Yeah, it sounded like you guys were just having a normal conversation. To be honest, that was pretty dope. Just the fact that it wasn't a whole bunch of questions. It was more of just going with the flow type.
Yeah, that's what we try to go for. Thank you, though. I appreciate it, bro.
Yeah, that was sweet, man. Another question for you. How about the meetup? Are you guys doing that for sure? Is it going to be on the Saturday for sure, or you're not sure yet?
Firm latest by Wednesday, but there's an 80% chance we're going to do it for the thing is let me check the schedule again, because I believe the VIP dinner for the FX Summit is on Saturday, right? And I don't know if there's any people in here who are the VIP, who got the VIP dinner, so I wouldn't want them to miss the VIP dinner for.
It's on the Friday. It's on the Friday of VIP dinner.
Oh, so then we'll most likely do it Saturday. Let me just check the agenda real quick.
Yeah, I just bought a ticket VIP just now.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. We're definitely gonna do the meetup then.
All right, cause man, I'm gonna fly in for that, man. Cause I was just in Florida, but I have to leave. But I'm gonna come back for that. I just want to make sure I'm not gonna book it and then there's no meetup.
Yeah, no, for sure. No, there's definitely gonna be one at that point because the car show's at 5 p.m. So I'm planning to do the meet around 9. So I think there's more than enough time there.
All right, cool, man. You'll drop the details closer to the time, right?
Well, we'll send out emails with more information to everybody who signed the little contact.
Okay, I did not do that actually yet. Can I? Is the link still up?
So go ahead and do it.
All right, I'm gonna do that right now. Thanks.
Bring the A12 to the meetup.
I'm gonna bring all my cards, and I'm gonna have the 720 back by then too.
Yo, that's gonna be live.
No,
So for anyone coming down from anywhere else, y'all needs help in Miami, where to go? Just text me up in the chat. It's the same name. I'm from Miami. I got y'all.
Thanks, bro.
Yo, Raul, it's my birthday tomorrow, bro. Take me out for a ride.
Happy birthday, bro.
Happy birthday, bro.
Appreciate it.
Hour left, but giving you that early.
Happy birthday.
Yeah.
Perfect.
All right, cool. So let me guess. Everybody's good?
Yo, Raul, could you go over US 30 real quick, please?
I already went over US 30, but basically what I said was if price breaks under support, I would look for it to come down into 32 flat. That's in short what I said.
For sure. Appreciate it.
How about Nas? It's the same thing too.
It should roughly be the same thing. Yeah, I would look for NAS to keep dropping into 12,376, which is this area right here. This is where I would look for NAS to keep going. For NAS though, you could also look for it on the daily time frames, a break and retest of this area for it to keep dropping. But I would look for it to keep dropping for sure. Even on this 4 hour time frame, you can wait for the pullback and then look to short here.
I see that. All right, thank you.
What do you think about Bitcoin right now? What's that chart looking like?
I mean, I was waiting for Bitcoin. I was anticipating for Bitcoin to keep dropping to like 30,000, and then probably look to buy there. But we'll see what happens when it gets to 30,000 because it's definitely it won't stop dumping. So we'll see if 30,000 holds. That'll be a good buy opportunity. If it breaks, then shit. Probably look for like 20,000.
Wow.
Yeah, 30.29. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I appreciate you.
Yeah, bro, of course.
Yo, you didn't go to the F1 race?
Nah, I didn't.
Quick question, Raul. So last week you went over your GJ trade, right?
Yeah.
Clearly that trade didn't play out for you, but I noticed that you didn't really wait for a break and retest, but you just traded the breakout because you see the 1 hour and the 30 minutes close under your zone. Why didn't you wait for the retest?
Because I was expecting momentum to keep pushing in my favor.
You look for panics.
Sorry?
You look for selling panics that use momentum, right?
Well, yeah, I was pretty much selling with the expectation that momentum is going to keep pushing price in my favor. And it just didn't play out that way. Like here, it would have worked out a lot better than over here because at least I would have had my stops to break even. But over here, price just ended up pulling back. Also, there was a lot of news that week as well, which, didn't really get me frustrated. So I understood the risk I was taking and I didn't take big risk behind it because, normally like I'd be risking maybe like 10 to 15,000, even $25,000 a position. I was only risking like $6,000 on a position like that. So whenever I'm trading like a breakout in the sense of like I'm expecting momentum to keep pushing price in my favor, I don't really go in with a big position. Unlike where
I also noticed that your $100,000 day in gold, I noticed that you use the same execution too. So I was like thinking, but I understand what you're talking about now. I appreciate it, bro.
What is the breakout method? Like what do you see when you trade it?
It's not necessarily a method. I mean, I guess you could call it like a method, but essentially what I'm waiting for is a break of the level of support and looking for momentum to keep pushing price into my favor. It's definitely a lot riskier than waiting for some form of a retest, but that's essentially what it is.
Oh, okay. So it's kind of just like what timing when to get in based off of momentum?
Yes and no, because it's a combination of timing and price action.
Okay.
You expect the New York session and the London session to push your trading in your favor. So, yeah. Okay, I appreciate it, bro.
Yeah.
Hey, Raul.
Hey, bro.
Would you consider yourself a swing trader now instead of a regular day trader like how you were before?
I mean, I guess you could. I mean, I guess I could. I'm just mainly looking to trade from level to level because it makes things so simple. And not just simplicity, it makes the most sense in terms of a trading system because, right, let's look at the simplicity from here. If price maintains under this resistance, I'll look for it to come back down to the next major support. If price breaks above resistance, I'll look for it to come up into the next major resistance. If price rejects this resistance, I'll look for it to come back down to support. If price breaks above this resistance, I'll look for it to come up into the next resistance. So, it's a very simple concept because you're only trading a specific range. At any point in time, you're either going to be trading this range here, right? Or you're going to be trading this range over here, or possibly even this range up here. So I'm just trading from point A to point B. That makes it a lot simpler for your targets, your stop losses, everything.
Okay. And it gives you the best high probability trades, right? Okay. All right, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
Raul, no, sorry, quick question. Have you ever heard of like the optimal trade entry as far as like New York being from 8:30 to 11 a.m. and London being from like 3 a.m. to 5 a.m.? Do you find any truth in those timings?
I mean, again, like, those times is when you're going to see volume. And volume is going to push price either in your favor or against you.
Okay. And do you know anything about this 9:30 candle
On what?
business? Like during, like, let's say during New York session, do you know anything about what the 9:30 candle does?
Well, that's when the New York Stock Exchange opens up. So you're going to see volume there too.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yo, Raul, this is something you talked about on the podcast. What was that you were doing with Alex with Chase? What was that? I was trying to understand, but I really couldn't.
With Chase?
Yeah, the trading what you were doing with Chase.
Oh, I was trading options.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was trying to figure out, but I couldn't get it. But how does that work with Chase?
So they have a UInvest platform where basically they're a brokerage that lets you buy and sell calls or puts.
Oh shit. Okay, that's dope. I didn't know that one.
Stocks
So like to ask what Alex asked, why did you stop if you were making money?
Because the platform was just so complicated, right? There was one trade that I was up 30K and I tried, selling my options and I ended up getting out like at a $10,000 gain. And, on top of that, like it just had to do with a lot of different things. If I want to go back to trading options, right, like I'll have to really go back and download TD Ameritrade and really go that route and open up an account. Well, I already have an account with them, but really just kind of download the platform and everything. But instead of, trading options, I could just trade on MetaTrader, which is a platform I'm already familiar with. It's a lot easier to deposit and I can just trade like, index funds.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Okay. Thank you, bro.
I saw the interview. You said like to close the trade, you had to call somebody like close that shit.
Yeah, he was saying like you have to call them like in the middle of buying the car. You're like, yo, like close my fucking trade.
Yeah, I know, because my trade wouldn't close. I'm like, what the fuck? So I called the bank. I'm like, yo, close my trade.
Did they put you home? Give me a second, Raul.
Second, I'm like in $14,000 floating people. I'm like, what do you mean? Give me a second, just close it. And then 5 minutes, I'm like, okay, your position was now sold. I'm like, well, thanks. Yeah, that was a mission.
That sucks.
Yeah, that was a mission.